You are listening to the Backline podcast.
I'm Trey. This is Tristan. And you're listening to the Backline podcast. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. It's been a while since we had a podcast episode. This is episode 18. And today we're just going to talk about some of our favorite albums. It could be ones that influenced us, ones we just like to listen to. We're just going to talk about them. Before then, I'm just going to hit you with some updates. My 134, still in the writing process. We're up to 7 songs. 2 of them we just listened to tonight. Tristan's done the scratch drums to them. Guitars next. And yeah, I don't know. What do you think of them so far?
Yeah, I think they're good. We're doing everything by ourselves this time around, so it's a learning process as we're going. Been a fun learning process, obviously, with its fair share of growing pains. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's interesting to put our own spin on the whole process. Whether it's a good or a bad thing, it's certainly our own.
One, to have total control over the process and the timeline and everything like that. That's good and bad too, because you get a little bit of, lax. Get a little too relaxed and spend more time on stuff than you want or need to. But
yeah, there's not that money deadline when you're in the studio.
That's right. It's not that
when
pressure.
You're in the studio.
So that's that.
For sure.
Have a lot of content coming with that. We're going a little overboard on the content, the reels. Some have other content. More to come. Whenever we decide to release these.
Yeah.
We're in no rush.
Exploring venues or exploring new avenues with that content. We haven't done that stuff before, so it's interesting to give it a try.
Yeah, and no rush on it, which again is good and bad. Some of these songs have been in the works for a while. Or written for a while, but just haven't been recorded. So, yeah. Control your own destiny.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what's up with my 134 studio wise. I've got a solo project. I'm dropping a song on March 30th, my first debut single, and then I will be going live on my 134's Twitch channel that day, just to play through the song and to kind of give you a Q&A, talk about it. So that is Sunday, 3:30 at 10 a.m. I'm going to go live on Twitch. The song drops at midnight. It's called Dead to You.
Nice.
And before that, yeah, Tristan has pretty much, I don't even know why I call it my solo project, because Tristan's done everything he usually does except for drum. So he's been doing the recording, mixing, mastering, all that. So it's just different than my 134. That's why it's called the solo project.
Yeah, it's different flavor. Different. You're kind of doing your own thing there, singer-songwriter kind of thing.
Yeah,
not to insult you.
No, I don't even know what I'd call it. I had to pre-upload it to DistroKid and the other content, and it asked me for category or genre, and that's exactly what I put, singer-songwriter, because I'm like, I don't really know what it is.
Yeah, what else would you call it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure people will tell me what I am. People like to do that.
Subgenre the shit out of it.
Yeah. This guy's a singer-songwriter, alt, country, punk,
string
folk
in
guy.
the key of E.
Yeah, he doesn't play in the Pythagorean theorem, man. No, I play 3 chords. So that's that. Now, circling back to my 134, no
That's
live
awesome.
shows 2025.
That's the plan.
We've had some offers. We kind of put our foot down, and with all due respect to everybody who's asked, I mean, it's putting our foot in the ground to get this album finished and really, really focus our attention on the album and all the content that's coming with it, because I feel like all of our other stuff, I mean, we released Sinner, and then ever since then it's been one a year, and it's been in the midst of playing gigs and stuff, so it was always rushed.
Yeah. it's one of those things where like it might just be an us thing, but like when you're in between shows and whatnot and practicing to put on a good show, it's hard to then put that energy towards writing.
Well,
I know
it's
we've
a
talked about
mindset.
that before.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, like we don't just do, live original shows. We'll also throw cover shows in there, which means you have to do 3 hours of like music, which requires a lot of learning, especially to do it well.
Learning,
So,
relearning.
not to make excuses, but yeah, no, for sure.
And I know there's plenty of bands locally who can like one weekend they're playing and then the next weekend they're in the studio or day, but it's like that's just not how we roll, exactly like you said, because it's like we're doing so many different, such a variety of show styles that it's like we run ourselves thin, and then we're very prepared. I feel like, I mean, we're more of not prepared, but just like we're a planning mindset.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's wanting to be put on a professional show in either avenue. It's like you and I are a little hypertensive about that when it comes to like, hey, we got to be practiced, so we put on a good show. It's the same thing with writing. It's like we got to make sure this is like, up to our standard and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's just like, not to saying that other people like do it below a standard. It's just that like for us and our creative process and playing process, it just requires that like extra polish or extra preparedness for us to put on a good show.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I'm excited about I'm getting a little antsy, as you know, but I'm excited about the slowdown of writing what we're doing now, because it's like you have time. You're not rushed to get it done before a show or to focus on show songs or a set list or preparation.
Yeah.
It's like this is our main focus, and we really put our foot in the ground. Like I said, we've turned down a handful of shows that usually we would absolutely not even think about, but
yeah, and then like, I guess alongside the whole preparedness thing, like we kind of lead pretty busy lives outside of music, so it's like hard to make that time for either side of that. It's not just that we're not like working on stuff; it's just that like, setting that time aside and whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. I missed the biggest thing, life. Yeah, so
yeah, right.
But also, it's a mental bandwidth too. You only have so much creativity you can spare, and it's like
no, absolutely.
We really are focusing on the art and the atmosphere and the songs in general. I mean, some of these, I'm really pleased with how they turned out, because it's like we had unlimited in quotes time, and we just started trying shit in the studio. And right before tonight's podcast that we're recording, it's like we were listening to 2 others and just tossing ideas around. It's like we're in no rush.
Yeah.
I'm a little antsy for no reason, but I just am. And
it's one of those things where it's just the evolution of the band and whatnot in the creative process. So it's just,
but it back to our original point, it's like it's nice to not have any sort of deadline to a point. But it's like there's no deadline. Okay, we got to do this. We got to have these songs recorded by here because we play live here, and then by X time we have to be practicing covers or practicing for that show. It's like there's nothing.
Right.
So that's my spiel on the live show status at 134. We had to make sure we get this recorded tonight to come out here in a couple days, because Tristan's going on a little break for a couple days. Where are you going?
Yep, I'm making another trip out to Canada. I go out there every now and then to say hi to some friends. So go out there and drink some maple syrup, see what happens.
Yeah.
No, I'm just going out there for a couple of days and whatnot, because I've got some friends who are living up there now. So
a music-free weekend for once.
For once, yeah.
So yeah, that's why we had to record tonight, and this comes out in a couple days, and Tristan's passporting out of the U.S. of A. So, what to segue into our topic tonight, what have you been listening to lately? Just don't even think about it. What have you been listening to?
Oh shit, this is going to be off the rails. Like, this is not something in any way, shape, or form related to the band. This is going to be weird. I've actually really fallen in love with like ambient music lately. For any gamers out there, Minecraft music. Only because it helps me focus and really lock into work. So I've been listening to that a lot lately. It's actually pretty good for that. So if anybody out there has like trouble focusing on something, just throw on some fucking Minecraft music and see what happens.
I've heard a lot of people do that actually, like throw on music without lyrics or throw on stuff classical or like Beethoven, shit that. So,
well, the key is that like without words, like it just falls into the background. And I think I told you recently, I grabbed some, I recently invested in some like noise canceling headphones. So that plus like ambient Minecraft music is like perfect. Like I'm getting so much shit done. It's insane.
Well, to me, I'm not a big ambient music guy, but to me, that's like you have like if you fall asleep to the TV, right? If it's just a monotone sound, you're fine. But it's like the instant you hear fluctuation in voices, you're awake. So it's like
the instant that TV turns. Yeah,
I feel like that's kind of like that's kind of how I think of it as.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like, just as a little anecdote, I do the same thing. Like I'll leave a TV show on or something, and it's like as soon as that show ends, I'm awake immediately. It's so funny.
Yeah, that's
but I guess
like
outside of
go ahead.
We're gonna struggle a little bit here. This is the first time we've done a podcast over the webs. The interwebs,
so
and we
to
have
our
some input lag.
Yeah, to our listeners, we've both been so busy with life stuff that tonight's the only time we could find time, and we're doing it via Discord and Ableton, so we're actually not face to face for once. So yeah, no, just I forgot where we just left off, but
I can pick it up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Outside of like Minecraft music and stuff that puts you to sleep, I guess Leprous, that band I showed you the last time I was down.
Yeah,
I've recently dove into some of their older stuff. I should send you it because their older stuff is a little bit more like rockin' and angry, where the singer actually uses his voice a little bit differently.
Nice.
So, Leprous for the people listening. Bilateral is the song that's been like stuck in my head. That song rocks.
Some of their stuff was good, but the other day when we were loading out gear, I was like, what are we listening to?
Yeah, they have some stuff in between there where it's just a little incessant, and it's just like they're like prog rock is what their genre is, and they really lean into the prog sometimes. It's interesting. What about you? What have you been listening to lately?
So, dude, I had this huge urge to go back and listen to Sinner by Mile 134. I'm just kidding. I'm fucking kidding.
You can't listen to that song.
Sinner by Drowning Pool. That whole album.
Oh yeah, you were raving about that album.
Oh my god, dude. What was I doing? It might have came up on Shuffle. I was watching or had YouTube on in the background, and eventually you just run out of a playlist to add songs to, and all of a sudden Tear Away came on, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about this song. And then I went back and listened to, Reminded, I Am, Sermon, Follow, that whole album of Sinner by Drowning Pool. So that was, and I actually went to the point of, I got so sick of the Spotify ads that when I was working out, I just took my old iPod Nano and hit play the Sinner album by Drowning Pool and just listen. I've been listening to it straight through my workouts.
Nice.
It's just his voice is so good. And
yeah, it's a classic one, man.
Yeah, their music is simple but tasty. Oh,
yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, yeah, you got Bodies on there, but that's probably my least favorite off the whole album. I mean, because the rest are so good.
Yeah,
and then, yeah, I mean that's been one that I've been listening to a lot lately. Is the Drowning Pool Sinner album.
Yep. No, fuck yeah. It's that 90s era. What was that? The other one that's got like a really good album is Papa Roach. Like that's kind of along the same.
Oh yeah, Getting Away with Murder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
those are all like
his
good.
new stuff doesn't even compare to that album. I mean, he's still very good, but it's like Getting Away with Murder was a staple.
Yeah. For sure.
And I was gonna talk about like
just composition wise. Just composition wise, like that whole composition of that album is insane. It's very good. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was gonna try to talk about tonight like our favorite albums, our top 5 or whatever, but it's so hard because there's so many great ones across all genres. But it's like anymore, people like songs, not albums. So it's like maybe we can narrow this down and pick our favorite albums. But it really is going to depend on the memory or the nostalgia that you have with a certain album.
Yeah.
So
that are like your top 5 changes. Like you can try to say like your top 5 of your life versus like top 5 of like right now. Like the top 5 of your past 30 days.
Yeah, so I put notes in here to talk about like top 5 favorite albums. But yeah, to your point exactly, it's like it's gonna change, which is fine. Yeah. I mean, that's what it should do. But it's like, yeah. So. And the one thing I'm going to say is I have zero guilty pleasure songs or albums because I think guilty pleasure is a terrible term because music should have variety and you shouldn't be ashamed of listening to something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are like, what's your guilty pleasure listening? And I always tell them, I'm like, I like all my shit, but, to some people, 3 Days Grace is a swear word. It's like, oh, that's butt rock, dad rock. But dude, like that 1X album.
Yeah. What's funny, there's this like phenomenon of people who like hated music. Like it's easy to hate on Nickelback, right? Or like some of the old like 80s, 90s like bop music, like pop music and whatnot. But if you go back to like, if you hated that music back then, you're like, I fucking hate Nickelback. And you go back and you listen to it, you're like, oh, I remember hating that. That song was actually kind of good. And it's just because it's a memory thing, like you were saying earlier, where it's like, yeah, it's a phenomenon and it's funny. I love it.
So where we grew up. It's like heavy music was not a thing, right? In a town of 700 people. It really wasn't a thing. So like going back to 3 Days Grace, 1X, or Nickelback, is it all the right reasons or all the wrong reasons? I don't know the album, but first time I heard a Nickelback song was How You Remind Me. And then it was Saving Me on Fuse. I saw the music video on Fuse, and I'm like, these guys are fucking good. I mean, they're good, right? And then 1X. I remember playing 1X in my Walkman and just, dude. And yeah, people hate on that shit, but that's what I grew up listening to. That's what transitioned me into the heavier stuff. Was like what they call now the butt rock, but fuck you. I mean, go on YouTube and watch Nickelback or 3 Days Grace with Adam, the old singer. Well, now he's back with them, but whatever. And watch them live in their heyday. And dude,
it's good.
It's good. So, and I mean, we're going to go into the whole other topic here, but it's like, don't hate on fucking music. Don't hate on what people like.
Well, what's funny is it goes the other way for me too. Like I didn't like a lot of pop music back when I was younger. Like, Bruno Mars. Like the song that comes to mind is what the fuck? It's his album release that's like got Locked That I Haven't on it.
Oh yeah.
And like,
dude, that's a great song.
Those songs. Yeah, he's got a good voice and whatnot. Like, but I remember being back then and just being like, fucking, this is terrible. I don't want to listen to this.
Yeah.
Like, this doesn't connect with me at all. Now that I'm older, I'm just like, I remember hating that.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good song.
Yeah. That's like, because we also grew up with the freaking Travis Tritt and the Dixie Chicks, and I'm not even kidding you. I was singing the Dixie Chicks tonight. I'm like, why is this stuck in my head? And then, Travis Tritt, I got the rice cooking in the...
Well, that's always been a good song.
That's a banger.
Like, that is... Yeah, that's a great song. That's always been a good song.
So to me, it's like, it goes back to... You got to have some variety in your listening, because that's going to...
Yeah.
Whether you know it or not, that's going to secondhand influence your... I think not in a negative way, but I think it expands your playing palette. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a musician, it's going to expand you're hearing different notes, different styles, so you inherently, without knowing, kind of bring it into your songwriting, right? I mean,
yeah, you're willing to try it because you've heard it, whether subconsciously or not, too. I think also there's like a psychological thing there too. Not to dive into it, but if you can like if you can like and relate to different kinds of music, I feel like you can get along with a larger group of people.
Yeah, and you
can relate to it.
Opens your mind instead of having tunnel vision and saying, this is the best band. Like going back to our elitist episode, right? It's like,
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where we're leaning.
yeah, but it's like, this is the best band ever and fuck everybody else. You're closing
Yeah.
yourself off to so much great music, dude.
For sure.
So, and I just want to point this out too. Just because you listen to a band or are influenced by them doesn't mean you sound like them. Like, look at the bands that I just listed off. Drowning Pool,
Yeah.
3 Days Grace, Nickelback. We do not sound like that at all. But you know what? I love their music, and you take some stuff from them maybe, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you sound like them.
No, for sure.
So
Yeah, that's yeah. You take inspiration from anywhere. You know, I mean, we grew up with the '90s and whatnot, and I feel like having grown up with like, I don't know, you were into rap for a while.
Oh,
and,
yeah, dude.
You know, not to turn the conversation on us, but like, you know, rap and then like everything on the radio and whatnot. I feel like what we're doing now is like very different from that, but that's coming from, you know, the inside. So I don't know.
yeah, that's coming from
that
us.
counts.
People are probably like,
Yeah.
you guys are
We don't sound like anybody else.
you guys are ripping off some rehashed riffs.
Oh,
Oh, throwing shade at that one.
nah, that's fine.
So no,
But-
I would have to say, if I had to list, okay, we'll do this in steps.
Okay.
We'll say do you have 5 albums you can name? Because you're terrible with names. Do you have 5 albums you can name? If I had
I
you
could
name,
pull up YouTube and look through my library. I could find some albums, I guess. Let's see.
well, I can go
How are
first.
we-
But, so I was just gonna say, let's name our top 5 favorite albums. We can cut it down
Okay.
if you need to. Like right now, what are your favorite couple albums? If you had to, or
Okay.
ones that stick out to you the most that you go back and listen to right now.
Okay. I mean, I could probably name like 5 albums off the bat.
Yeah, name one, and then I'll name one, and we'll do it that way.
Okay, you're never gonna see this one coming, but Avenged Sevenfold, fucking Waking the Fallen.
Oh,
It's a hard choice because there's like 3 different flavors of Avenged Sevenfold that are like my top albums, but that one's like the one I always circle back to, and it's like that fucking rocks.
you do like that one, but I was thinking you were gonna say Backcountry,
City of Evil, you mean?
City of Evil. Whoops.
But yeah, I mean that's like the other flavor, right? Like Waking the Fallen is very much their like more raw flavor. Like it's more like, I don't want to go on a tangent about Avenged Sevenfold, but then you have Nightmare, which is like not really with the Rev anymore, and City of Evil was like the Rev when he was in like his very much like writing phase and whatnot.
Dude, Nightmare was big when I was going to college, and that was on JJO, and I loved it.
Yep.
So Waking the Fallen, huh? I can't believe I called it City of Evil Backcountry, but that's all that I can see the
That's okay.
artwork
That's like
in
the-
my mind, and then I'm like, Backcountry.
Yeah. Well, I gotta check myself. I gotta make sure it's on there.
Yeah, it is.
All right, I'll either get roasted in the comments, or I'll be fine.
Because that has Wicked End on it, right? Sidewinder.
City of Evil?
Yeah.
I don't know.
City of Evil, that wasn't that the one that no, it was shit. What was the one that Nick was trying to teach me the leads for? Wasn't it Beast and the Harlot?
Oh,
Beast
yeah,
and the Harlot.
Backcountry's on there. Yeah, Beats in the Harlot is the first song. That's right.
Mhm.
All right. What's yours? Sorry.
So I said one of mine, so I will cancel that out. But actually, I said 2 of mine. So these I will not include in this list, but just know they are some of my favorites. Sinner by Drowning Pool and 1X by 3 Days Grace. So my next favorite album, probably my favorite of all time. Hey, I'm looking at my list. I don't know. Ooh. It's got to be tied for first. Dirt by Alice in
Ooh.
Chains.
Yeah.
First of all, my favorite guitar player of all time, Jerry Cantrell. And then you got Lane's voice, and that album just seems like it was mixed so good, so well.
Yeah, it is.
But I mean, that was another one too. What was I doing? I think I was writing some of our stuff. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I'm like, I really want to relearn how to play Them Bones.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm like,
well, okay, good luck. Like the main riff for that.
oh. I mean, there's not a bad song on that album because that's another one where when I finished Drowning Pool's Sinner, my next day workout, I listened to the entire Dirt album. So that doesn't have a bad song on it.
Right.
So Dirt by Alice in Chains, that's for sure gotta be my favorite or tied. What you got next?
You took Dirt. That's a good one. One of mine. God, I have two I could throw at you, but I might just take the two of them because they're both kind of speed metal.
Hold on, we're gonna go back and forth a couple times, so don't throw them both right now.
All right. Well, this one is you're probably not gonna know, but it's Allegion's Apoptosis. It's the one with the crazy bass riff in the intro. It's not a band you were a fan of, but
no, but you were real big on them.
They rock. I still listen to their stuff, and they are still making good music, and I appreciate that.
Yes, for my next one. Oh boy, tough. There's a second
shoot from the hip,
dude. There's a second Alice in Chains one that I would say right now.
Do it, fuck it.
But I don't know. No, I won't do that. So there's two Metallica ones I want to say. One made me want to be a shredder and was kind of like a large influence on me getting serious about guitar. And the other one came out in, I believe, 2008. So I was little ways off from high school, but it came out and it was fucking amazing. It was their first album in X amount of years.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to go with that one. So Death Magnetic by Metallica.
Yeah.
How do you start
that out?
Dude, that was just your life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great album. Broken, Beat, and Scarred, All Nightmare Long. Of course, you have the ballad, or that's a word. The more of a ballad song, Day That Never Comes. But I really like Broken, Beat, and Scarred, and
oh yeah, that's a well-constructed album, I think.
Yeah, that was just your life, and then you got My Apocalypse, and yeah, there's some good ones on there, man. Unforgiven 3.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's a good one.
I'll take that one, but the other Metallica album might have been a bigger influence on me, but for listening pleasure, I got to go with Death Magnetic. So, what you got?
That's fair. Ashes of the Wake.
I
took that one.
Dude, I forgot.
I've been drumming to that a little bit lately. Not very well because it's hard to do it in the muted kit, especially the kicks. But yeah,
that's another one with like no bad songs.
Yeah, I mean they have a couple. That band, Lamb of God, Ashes of the Wake.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about that. What's the other album that's good by them? Wrath? Is it Wrath?
Wrath, or if you like the more produced stuff, it's like Sturm und Drang.
Oh yeah, that's got 512 on it. And
yeah,
that's a good
Resolution. Resolution has Ghost Walking and Desolation on it.
Oh yeah,
those are good.
Yeah, that's a good one. Damn, I didn't even have Lamb of God on my list.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's only because I've been listening to them. It's kind of like how you stumbled back into Sinner. Yeah. I stumbled back into Lamb of God just because I was like shuffling through songs to play through, and I was like, "Oh fuck, I can play to these."
Yeah, I forgot that. That's a great album.
Oh yeah.
All right, back to me. So I'm gonna say an obvious one, at least for me.
All right.
Nevermind, Nirvana.
Oh yeah.
I mean, dude, how can you?
That's
not?
OG.
Yeah,
that's shitty mics on a shitty mic setup, shitty studio. Make it work.
No, Nevermind. That was the overproduced one. You're thinking Bleach.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I was thinking Bleach, where it was
No,
like 2
Nevermind
mics
was
for the whole
like
drum kit. That was the bank
Platinum.
breaker.
Yeah. That was the one.
That was
where-
with You're Right.
No, dude. Teen Spirit.
I'm getting it.
In
I'm
Bloom,
sorry.
Lithium, Breed. You don't know your Nirvana.
I don't know the albums of the songs.
Yeah, I know. I was wondering.
The
how
only
you
one I
do on
know
this.
is Incesticide.
That's a good album.
That is
But-
a good album. I fucking love
never-
that album.
Nevermind was so influential to me because I remember hearing it and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've talked about this before on our Substack and possibly in another podcast, but so I'm going to name my other Metallica album right now, but it's And Justice for All. And Justice for All made me want to be a guitar player. And then I heard Nevermind by Nirvana, and that made me want to write songs and say, fuck trying to be a shredder.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we wrote when I was under the influence of And Justice for All, but it's like you were more focused on the guitar playing and the, you know, the crazy, not the crazy, but the different
The rhythms.
Yeah, the different rhythms, but the layout of the songs, the format. You had the intro, the verse, the transition, the build up, the chord, and it's Nirvana. It's like, here you go, boom.
Yeah.
So, all right, you got another one?
Yeah. I feel like you would have said this one if I don't, but Frog Stomp.
Oh, Silverchair.
Yeah, Silverchair. The reason being, like, that is a pure example of just what a kick, a snare, a couple of toms, and a fucking crash cymbal can do.
Yeah, dude.
Yes.
Great album.
It's just it's so simple, but they did it very well. Like, I think that's like a very prime example of, like, specifically drumming, but like grunge drumming. Like, just some guy who may or may not actually know how to drum, you know, and then
and his snare was very hollow sounding, like that.
Oh, it was just this big fucking crack of a snare with this big like, they didn't even, the overtones on that were half the tone of it. It sounds like Saint Anger snare.
Oh, it does.
People notoriously hate that snare.
Just further in the mix, further back in the mix.
It's a little bit more refined.
And they were 16.
Yeah, right.
That's freaking crazy.
Right. Fucking tykes. Making a great album.
So, do you have one more in you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, hold on. So, I'll do one, you'll do one. Yeah, okay. Ooh. I'm going to
Trying to
pass
find
over.
a good one. I have a couple.
There's two from the 90s I would do. Well, this one's from the 90s, but I'm going in the new metal right now. Oh, dude. I just thought of another one. Damn it. This is hard. Oh, you know, we're talking about influences and favorites, right? I totally left out Slipknot off this list.
Yeah.
And they're I mean, they're one of my favorites, but they're more influential than like pure listening pleasure.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Like, it's one of those things that's just like,
because like if
you
I
can
was
listen
going
to a whole album and not necessarily appreciate the production of it or the guitar work of it, you're just like, that's just fucking good headbanging music versus sitting down and like listening to it and be like, oh shit, like I can play this.
But dude, now that we're on Slipknot, people can hate all they want, so hate in the comments. The Gray Chapter.
That's a good one. I like that album a lot.
Not a bad song on there. Fight Me Chat.
Fight Me Chat. No, that's fair.
Sarcastrophe is one of the most brutal songs written. And then you had the negative one. Everybody likes Kill Pop way too much. I mean, it's good.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's good, but like,
it's not. It should not deserve the praise it gets. I mean, I like it, but I'm not like, people are like, this is amazing. And I'm like, okay.
I get it as an art piece and whatnot, and I do like the song, but
I like it.
Like, for me, it's like, I don't know. I get it, but I agree with you where it's like it's not like musically fucking amazing. It's more just like the vibes are very strong.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. You know, if I would take AOV over that any day.
Yeah.
But the big one on that album too, it came out about the same time because I was going to college, and it was Nightmare on the radio by Avenged Sevenfold, and then it was Devil and I. And that was the big one, and that's a good song, but it got overplayed. But that's a good one. Great. Point 0.5, great chapter. Slipknot.
Oh yeah.
What you got?
Well, you already said it.
Oh, did I rob it?
No. I have to pick another Avenged Sevenfold. Like maybe one of the strongest influences on me was Nightmare.
Yeah, I remember you always drumming to that one.
Well, I was just desperately trying to play that song and like figuring out double bass and whatnot. And I remember Uncle K, he was like, "You don't need to figure out double bass." He's like, "I never used it," and I was like, "Shut up."
Yeah, that's because he was.
I've never said that to him.
No,
but he was like, he was a little frustrated with me because I wasn't focusing on actually getting better at drums. I was only focusing on double kick, which I'm still not good at. I didn't actually get anywhere with it. But
dude,
yeah. Now, what's fun about that album and why it's like such an influence is I can still play a lot of those songs note for note, like just like picking it up and just being like, oh, I'm just gonna play this now, and just like, oh, I can just play this. But the funny thing is you find little cheats. Like instead of playing it exactly how it is, I think it was Mike Portnoy who played. He sat in. I don't like him that much. I think he's a prick, but I appreciate his skill behind the kit. The thing is that he hits every note. Like every kick that can happen does happen and whatnot.
Oh, very busy.
Whereas,
yeah,
well, not even that. Like it's like, you know how you can write a conjunction like can't, CAN apostrophe T. He would write can space not in that situation. So like every time there could be a kick there where there's like a snare at the same time where you could hide it with a single kick instead of a double kick there, like a left-footed kick, he'll put that left-footed kick there and you can hear it. Whereas if you're playing it like me and like you're trying to be a little bit more efficient with it, you can get away with using the toms in place of a kick or just not kicking with your left foot and just letting the snare do the work. But that's just my humble take. My other choice, and this one's a weird one, was actually going to be The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance.
So that one was a big influence on me because, not to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
Back when MTV actually played good shit, they would do like music video runs just all day. And I remember watching Famous Last Words. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit. And then
that's the music with the lights turning off.
Dude, and then you buy the album and you realize you have, Sleep and The Sharpest Lives and stuff like that off that album.
Yeah.
That's a great album.
That album has some like punkiness to it. I think that the crowd that latched onto it, like the goth, I don't want to say goth, but they are goth.
Yeah,
like,
they really tried hard in that, yeah.
Part of the crowd that latched onto that album didn't necessarily like the musicianship that was going on. That drummer hides a lot of skill behind what he does. He's kind of like Sean Kinney, drummer for Alice in Chains. Yeah. There's a lot of skill there. They just like hide it. There's still fills. What song is that? I think it is Famous Last Words. There's some fills in there where I don't know how he does them. Like I'll try to figure it out just by listening to it. It's like the one that's like checka, and I can't. Yep. He's hitting like 3 things at once, and I can't figure it out. But interesting to listen to that. Like you underestimate it, where it's like fucking, these guys are just goth players. They don't know what they're doing. And then you actually listen to it and it's like, holy fuck. Like these guys are actually really good musicians.
They're good, dude. That's a great album. That's a good call out.
What was the one? There's that song on there. It's like, I Don't Love You Like I Did Yesterday. That song like got really popular for some reason. Like that, I think that one maybe has the most plays. I could be wrong there, but that's when I say that the crowd that listens to them doesn't necessarily appreciate the musicianship because that song is very slow and there's not a lot of stuff going on. And I don't like it that much. That's an opinion though.
No,
sorry. That's my salty opinion.
I bought the album because of Famous Last Words because back then you couldn't, we didn't have the internet to stream it. You and I didn't. So it was like you buy the album. Yeah. Yeah. So you listen to albums, even though, iPods and that shit were a thing, we didn't have them.
Right.
But, man, I really like Sleep because it's such a huge chorus. And then The Sharpest Lives because of that stop. And then it's give me a shot to remember.
Yeah, it's got a good catch.
Oh.
Like that catch is really good.
That's a great call out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll do one more and you can finish us off.
I think that was 6, actually.
We're going to keep going.
Okay.
People have either dropped off by now or are going to keep listening.
All right.
So I'm going to go to the 90s again. New metal.
All right. Okay.
Korn.
Yeah.
And the album that turned me on to Korn. It's not, in my opinion, it's not their best, but it was pretty. This one, I'm doing an influential album right now. Follow the Leader, because I remember hearing that and I'm like, this is crazy. Like it's angsty. He's pissed.
It's very angsty.
Oh,
Korn was the definition of teenage angst.
It was dark. And remember, the CD didn't start until song 13.
Oh yeah, they added a bunch of skips in there to be weird.
Yeah,
that's right. There were like 26 albums or songs. 26.
Yeah, no, it was 26 total.
Was I right?
Yeah, because there was 13 skips, and then you start at 13.
Oh my god,
but
that wasn't on purpose.
The killer album, or the killer song on that album, It's On.
Yeah,
that chorus is huge.
Hell yeah. That fucking. They have a lot. I like a lot of their songs. I forget where the albums they come from, but I'll hear them on shuffle every now and then. I'm like, oh fuck, that rocks.
Yeah,
and they have like 3 greatest hits album ever.
Yeah, Follow the Leader had some good stuff, but it had some random stuff too.
Yeah, they had filler songs in there.
They had some filler.
I wish you could be me.
Yeah, no, that's on Issues.
Oh, my bad.
But they had a couple weird ones. What the heck? All in the Family.
Yeah. Oh, I like that one.
That's. I mean, it's cool, but it's like
that's
totally throws you for a curveball.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Fred Durst.
That song is so fucking silly.
I love it though.
Or Twist. That wasn't that album, but
no,
that's another one that's just.
That's
like
damn, that's the one off Good God. It's got the kid in the mirror.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's not take a look in the mirror, because that was their one with Deep Inside and Right Now. Yeah, but anyways, Follow the Leader. Yeah, it's got BBK on it and Reclaim My Place, and what was the other one? Oh, of course, Freak on a Leash, but whatever. And then Got the Life. But then it ends with My Gift to You, which is that just slow da 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 da.
I don't really listen to that song. Like that's one of those ones that comes up and I'm just like, I don't really listen to that.
It's brutal.
Yeah. There's a couple of them on there that are like very much just like I get the vibe, I get the art form, but I'm not in the mood to listen to this. I'm not
your favorite. Yeah, no, like I said, it's not my favorite Korn album. After hearing their whole discography, not my favorite at all. But that was kind of like, this is Korn, and I'm like, holy shit. And the funny thing about that album is, remember, Dad said he found that album on the beach of the Wisconsin River on one of the sandbars.
Was that album, or was that Path of Totality?
No, I bought Path of Totality when I was really into Korn.
I gotcha.
But that was the one that he found on the beach and didn't give 2 shits about. And then he's like, yeah, whatever. And then he eventually got into Korn.
Yeah.
So, all right, what you got?
Ooh, I don't know. This one's more of a, like, not so much a drumming inspiration, but more of a composition inspiration. And this one's a give me. Like, people are going to hear this and be like, a fucking course. But Temple of the Dog.
Yep.
Like that. Good one. There's a lot of weird, I mean, it's a powerhouse album, right? Like, there's a bunch of people from different bands in that. It's a super group, yeah. But that's one of those ones where, like, I'll go back. Like, if I'm having a weird day, that or just Soundgarden in general. But I'll just be like, I'm not sure what to write, or I feel like I'm losing my touch for riffs and whatnot. And I'll go and I'll listen to that. And, like, yeah, they did some weird shit, but also they did a lot of really rudimentary stuff that just works. like very, very well. Like it just rocks by itself.
That was a good album. Really good album.
There's some simple shit in there that just absolutely rocks.
Yeah. Right now you got me thinking of Call Me a Dog.
Yeah.
And you call me a dog.
Say a Little Heaven gets stuck in my head a lot.
Oh,
Especially they have that like weird pre-chorus, like, yeah, down, down, down.
Yeah, that's a huge song. Or Reach Down.
So weird. Reach Down. Yeah.
Savior.
That song is the unending song. Savior. Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to mention Hunger Strike?
That's a good song.
Yeah, I know. It's just
It's weird though.
played a lot.
It's a weird one.
Yeah.
What's the reason I mentioned Soundgarden and whatnot, and actually what turned me back to Temple of the Dog was My Wave, the 5/4 Soundgarden song.
I think that's off Super Unknown.
Yep.
That's a good album too. Damn.
Yep.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Simple.
You can't choose albums. It's all gonna depend on the time and place and
Yeah.
how you grow. Because there's some Seether I could say right now. There's some Pearl Jam.
I'm surprised you didn't say any Seether. Yeah.
There's some damn good Seether
There's so many
albums.
like, how do you pick 5? Like
you
there's-
can't.
especially when like, I mean, I'm looking at my playlist right now that I've been scrolling through just to see like, oh yeah, what album should I pick? There are 2,000 tracks on this playlist. It is more than a day and a half of music. Like, how do I pick 5 albums from this? This is just music I've coagulated over the years.
Yeah, dude. And you know, I'm not even including like the unplugged either. So like the Nirvana Unplugged, the One Cold Night by Seether, stuff like that. So much good stuff. There's so much good music out there.
I mean, just to throw a little bit of dust on top of this delicate chocolate. That's a good analogy. Is
nice.
You talk about Unplugged. One of the largest inspirations to me, like musically, as in like you can fucking do that, was Sean Kinney on the Alice in Chains Unplugged, because he was like, that was a very good demonstration of what that man can do with just very simple shit, and not necessarily simple, but letting every hit count and breathe. Like that to me was like a staple in my learning how to drum, because like when you're younger and you're drumming, you just kind of think, I need to hit everything at any point in time, which works for some people, right? Like fucking go listen to like Disturbed or something. They don't let anything breathe. It's all just like on top of the beat, which is fine. But then you listen to Sean Kinney play Unplugged Alice in Chains, and he's using like toms that aren't heavy. He's using cymbal hits that are very spicy and like just sizzle and whatnot, and like a fucking tambourine in there too. And I don't want to hear anything from you. But
see,
it's very like well done. I think that's like that left a huge inspiration.
I remember watching that DVD over and over and over, and I know we were young at the time, but we were blown away when he did No Excuses, the intro.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because you don't know where those notes are coming from. Like
No.
when you're untrained, I guess, untrained eye. Like
Exactly.
you don't know, how is he doing that? Like what is he doing?
like now it's like, okay, yeah, but back then you're
Yeah, you
like,
get it.
holy shit.
Yeah. No,
So-
for sure.
Yeah, and that's funny you bring up Sean Kinney of Alice in Chains and Portnoy, because
Yeah, Mike Portnoy.
I watched something where he actually said that Dirt is the most underrated album of all time, and he praised Sean Kinney for the exact reasons that you just did.
He's underrated, I think. It's
Yeah,
funny because he
that's
just
what they
looks
said.
like they just picked him up from the fucking beach from surfing. Like he just looks
Yeah.
like a surfer.
Yeah. No,
It's
Alice in
unassuming.
Chains. Yeah.
But then you listen to things like that's Dirt, right?
Yeah.
What song is that? We used to cover
Right.
that.
Oh, fuck. That's Dirt. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, Dirt. Like you listen to that and it's like, yeah, he's letting stuff breathe, but he's also like really fucking slamming shit around. Like there's
Oh, yeah. 'cause
very
it's like
doom 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 cha doom and stuff like that, or that like
Yeah.
Black gives way to blue and whatnot. But anyways, I digress.
No, I'll close out the night. So I said I would do some Seether.
Yep.
Favorite album, Karma and Effect.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you don't know what's on that one.
I have bad news.
You don't.
I don't know.
Dude.
See, there is another one of those bands where I'm like, I don't know the album. I just know the songs and like the vibes that those songs give.
Because of Me,
Okay.
Truth, Burrito, Never Leave, Simplest Mistake,
Yeah.
Diseased,
That's a good album.
World Falls Away, and Given. I really like Given.
Yeah. See, I didn't listen to the album that much though. Like
Dude,
that album wasn't
Probably 'cause
like
it was
an
in my
album for me.
Trailblazer.
I think also you like annoyed me with how much you liked Seether at some point in time, so I was just like, I don't want to listen to Seether.
Probably like I did with Hail to the King. with Avenged
Oh
Sevenfold.
god damn it! I can't listen to that album without being like, I guess I'm driving to work with Trey listening to Hail
so
to
little,
the King.
Yeah, so little backstory. Tristan got me into Avenged Sevenfold, and eventually
First
when they
mistake.
released, when they released Hail to the King, I really liked it because it was simple, and we worked at the same place doing groundskeeping at a golf course and also cooking and doing whatever else. And we were going to work for one summer, and that's all I had in my Mercury Sable.
Oh my
was
god!
I had an aftermarket, like 8-disc CD changer, but we
Yep.
only listened to Hail to the King.
I was just about to say, yeah, you had all the options. You had like that was like the Cadillac of disc exchangers.
At the time.
And instead, we got to like the funny thing is you wouldn't switch the songs that you would listen to in the morning. You would always start with the same song, and we would always end at pretty much the same song every day.
That's
Now,
a great album.
It's a good album, but god fucking damn it.
Yeah, the one that really rings a bell is Shepherd of Fire, because I
Shepherd
remember
of
listening
Fire.
to that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
Coming Home off there's freaking awesome. Still.
yeah, that's good. It's a lot of songs on that album kind of are pretty flat. Like they don't have too many dynamics. Like it's not like City of Evil where you have like these breakdowns that are like fucking nutso, right? That
Right.
album is very much like a plug and chug and keep
It's
running
raw,
album.
it's more raw, more simple compared to their.
I would
other
not
stuff.
say raw,
No,
but I would
but
say
you know-
simple,
raw in a
rudimentary.
instrumentation way. It's like
yeah, that's
boom,
fair. Like
here
they
it
don't
is.
they don't do all this like effects and shit. I feel
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's very simple. It's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna diss him, but I feel like that album was a very interesting precursor to the stage. Like having that
Yeah.
album happen before the stage is very interesting.
They
I'm not gonna
lost
sit here and
me.
talk about Avenged Sevenfold.
No, but they lost me at the stage. But
Yeah.
they have the right. I mean, dude, they've been doing it so long, and they've, I give them props because they kind of did what Korn did in a different way. But you know what
Yeah.
I mean? They kept expanding their genre. They didn't do an AC/DC and play the same 3 chords for 40 years or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, and no bash in AC/DC. I just, even Metallica I get sick of because they're trying to rewrite the same shit, essentially.
Yeah.
Kind of. Not really.
Yeah, you got to
but
go out
kind
on a
of.
lim. Yeah, no, that's fair. Like, willing
And
to
it seems
taste
like Korn and Avenged Sevenfold bring in different elements from, again, we talked about it at the start of the podcast. It's like you bring in different elements from what you listen to, because Korn did that with Path Totality. And then Avenged Sevenfold, straight up, I read an interview. They're like, we're going to write it, and we don't really care if people don't like it. 'Cause
Yeah.
We've been doing it long enough.
I think they said Metallica thinks we're cool, so we're not going to take any shit from anybody else. I think that was
Exactly.
a direct quote from Matt at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
But
So yeah, that's, unless you got another album, that's it for me.
No, I mean, I have so many albums that have been.
Yeah, this could be a 3-hour
this could be
podcast.
never ending. Yeah, like we were just gonna run through my whole discography here. I'm sure you could pull up the old iTunes rip and just fucking run through that.
Yeah.
To be honest,
So, listeners, to recap, we like the 90s and new
we'll
metal.
give it away.
Yeah. So, no,
Oh.
just to reiterate, there's no guilty pleasures. You like what you like, and if anybody tells you different, tell them to suck it. But
Yeah,
music's a great thing, and picking any top albums is always going to change and fluctuate because music is meant to be felt in the time that you hear it and kind of you reflect back on that time. So music is very nostalgic. It's very, moment in time, snapshot based. That's why, I think that's, we're going to get real deep now, but I feel like that's why, some people like stuff and some people don't. I think that's the biggest disconnect, honestly. I think it's because maybe one person heard it at a certain time and they just hung on to it. And then the other person heard it just for the first time and they're like, oh, this is shit. How do you like that? So it really is time and place and where you're at in your life. Because that's what I've noticed with all the stuff that I just said with the albums. Because you think back to Dirt, it's like, dude, we were wanting to be musicians and it was just a fun time.
Yeah.
So
I mean, music is intrinsically connected to like memories and whatnot. I think I don't want to dive down the rabbit hole just like you said, but I agree with the points you made.
Yeah. No, right on, man. So thanks for tuning in, guys. This has been episode 18 of the Backline podcast. Be sure to share, listen, subscribe, follow. Appreciate you. Yeah.
Do all of those things.
So I hope you enjoyed our trial run of digitally recording this podcast. So I'm Trey.
This is Tristan.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Backline podcast.